So, let's step back a little to put things into context and see what happens. 13.7 billion years ago, the universe expanded from a dense hot speck to a vast and growing loaf of bread. Only it was not bread, it was a condensed soup of primordial particles. Gravitational and electromagnetic fields settled on a few constants. Space and time grew. The universe became transparent, and the light produced by the collision, fusion, and destruction of particles whizzed in all directions. Protons and electrons lost some kinetic energy, slowed down, and joined into a dance to create hydrogen. Taking advantage of some irregularities in the smoothness of space, gravity pulled the hydrogen atoms into gigantic stars which started their primordial work, create elements from heat and pressure, fusing protons and creating atoms in the process. When no element could be created anymore, they exploded in supernovas. The result of these explosions were giant clouds of gases and dust that formed new stars, but this time with little companions, planets assembled from the surrounding clouds of material. Sometimes these planets would be composed of heavy elements such as iron. Sometimes they would settle not too close to their stars and not too far out in the cold of space. There, they would be at the right distance for water to stay in its liquid state. It happened on Earth, as it probably happened on other planets. Thanks to enough water, a solid crust to rest, and a little bit of heat, clays of amino acids turned into little bubbles containing primitive forms of protein. Give it several million years, and from this primordial soup evolved a fascinating specimen capable of growing and reproducing itself. New cells emerge in different environments, ever more complex, ever more adapted. Bacteria changed the composition of our atmosphere. More complex forms of life came, some feeding on other elements, some feeding on life. The adventure of life lasted for millions of years. Sometimes it exploded, thriving in an incredible diversity. Sometimes it stumbled onto a radical change in the environment, or a catastrophe. Then, by the conjunction of geological, climatic, and evolutionary events, an unlikely mammal with no fur and few defenses decided to do better. Rather than simply evolving, it chose to adapt. It migrated, colonized the planet, creating tools to gather food, clothing for when it gets cold. It changed its environment, dreamt about a better condition. More importantly, it developed this strange habit to wonder, to reflect on the past, present, and future, to look for its place into the universe, and to understand what this universe is. So, the universe came to be, and about 9 billion years later, it came up with a way to look at itself. After all, a telescope is nothing but a giant mirror we show to the stars. So this is what happens when you truly look at things into the wider context. The reason why there is such a thing as a universe is simply a giant narcissistic game. In truth, it's quite beautiful, isn't it?